Hello and welcome back to the Oneapp Academy podcast. We are now on episode 6. I'm your host Abby, and during these podcasts we tend to dive into any topics that affect the Oracle consultant. And today I have a topic which I find really interesting at the moment, and that is how will AI affect the role of an Oracle consultant? So just before we delve in, just to give you a little bit of background on this and why I decided to come up with this as a topic. So about 15 or 20 years ago, I remember that professors and lecturers would talk about AI, and they would always encourage students to talk about it or write about it. But it was so new at the time that nobody really dared to delve into it because nobody really wanted to sort of talk about something that they didn't know much about. So obviously now times have changed a lot. We're seeing that AI is no longer a buzzword. We can see that AI is also transforming industries. It's automating processes. It's reshaping how we work. So I've started to wonder how AI will affect Oracle consultants. Will AI replace us? Will clients still need consultants? Or is it an opportunity to change the way that we work? And if it is an opportunity to change, how can we change? So I've had some talks with other IT professionals, other Oracle consultants, and done some background research myself. And I've come up with some discussion points which I thought might be useful to those who are probably going through similar changes and wanting to understand this for themselves. So first of all, let's talk about how AI is already making its way into the Oracle world. So as you've probably seen, if you've worked within Oracle, there are lots of tools that have been released by Oracle over the last 1 to 2 years, so very recently. And what we're seeing are machine learning tools, we're seeing adaptive intelligence applications, and also advanced analytic reporting tools. And these tools are now becoming a very important part of the Oracle platform. So for consultants, what we're seeing is a shift between the traditional roles that we have done in the past and, roles which are more AI driven, roles which involve helping customers to make decisions and to understand AI. So I've always wondered, am I ready to adapt? As a consultant, am I skilled enough to adapt in order to provide customers with the information they need? So the good news is, from what I've seen anyway, AI is not going to take the job of an Oracle consultant. It's not here to make our lives harder. It's actually here to make our roles a lot easier. So let's look at how I believe AI will make not just the role of a consultant easier, but I think just the users in general. So the first thing is it will streamline repetitive tasks. So if there are tasks that we're doing on a regular basis from a project perspective, like data cleansing, generating reports, also system monitoring. Now, these were roles that we were doing in the past, and they were done as part of a project implementation. Now, what's evident is that these tasks can now be achieved using AI tools. And these tools are giving consultants more time to focus on strategy, more time to focus on things like learning about the AI tools themselves and therefore teaching the clients on how to optimize their system. Now, another opportunity or another benefit of AI from a consulting perspective is enhanced decision making. So when we're sat with clients and they are talking about problems that they have with their current system or even with Oracle, then what we have based on the tools and the analytical reports that we have are insights. We have tools which help us to provide insights for the client. So if the customer has questions around licensing and how to optimize their licensing usage, then we can use the Oracle Advanced Analytics tool, or ODI, in order to ensure that customers can get the best use from their licensing and save costs. Now, another opportunity that AI brings is enhanced integration. So if you've worked on medium to large scale projects, then you may notice that there will be lots of integrations that will be linked to Oracle. And the reason for these integrations is to ensure that the legacy or third-party applications or even banking systems can send data to and from Oracle with ease. And previous to Oracle Cloud, what I noticed was that the tools to manage integrations were not necessarily streamlined. They weren't standard. You had desktop applications that were being used to manage file transmission, and they weren't necessarily secure. Lots of users were accessing these tools, and those users didn't necessarily have the security access to manage these tools. So the great thing about Oracle Cloud and AI is that we now have integration tools such as OCI, which is the Oracle Cloud integration tool. And that helps to manage these integrations in one place, and it provides a very standard, very simplified tool to allow that data to flow between the different applications and Oracle. And I can see that this tool is in very high demand. So it's important for Oracle consultants to look into improving their skills when it comes to integration. And we're now seeing integration with AI tools as well. So it's important to understand how those APIs work, and how maybe Oracle Integration Cloud can work for the client. So now let's look at some skills that consultants need in order to thrive in this AI-driven world. So the first is knowledge on AI and machine learning. So like I said in the last segment, it's important to understand integrations between AI tools and Oracle. It's not necessarily important to learn about OCI, but just understanding, for example, a data warehouse. So what is a data warehouse? How does that data warehouse integrate between Oracle and the reporting tools? And how can that be used in order to provide insights and other reports for clients? Now, another skill that I find is important when it comes to AI is data literacy. So why is data literacy important? So if we take a step back for a moment and think about the AI tools in Oracle. So we have tools like guided learning. We have ODI, which is for reports and analytics. So a lot of these tools are built around data. So if we are building tools around data and configuring these applications for the customer, it's really important to be able to understand how that data can be analyzed. Because if you look at Oracle Guided Learning, for example, so one of the tools or features that Oracle Guided Learning provides is the ability to just track people's usage of guided learning. So when a user opens up Oracle and they navigate around the different features, then they might decide that they want to do some training on how to do a certain process. So they can use guided learning to do this, and they can use guided learning to its extent, or they can use it very minimally. So what a guided learning administrator can do is they can just do some reporting and track to see how that user is interacting with that tool. They can track to see which users are using it, how many users are utilizing it, and therefore is it worthwhile for the customer to continue to pay for licenses for the additional guides. So in this example, we can see how having what I call insights, having that ability to view decision-making data can really impact the customer and benefit them. So learn to be comfortable with data, be comfortable with analyzing that data and helping the organization that you are supporting to analyze their own data. Now, another skill that I think is really important from an AI perspective is change management skills. And the reason these skills are important is because obviously with AI, changes are happening so quickly, and these changes need to be managed. They need to be standardized so that we are not overriding other people's changes, and to also make sure that users are comfortable with these changes, that people are aware of what's going on. So if we think about Redwood, so Redwood is Oracle's new theme in terms of how pages are built. And with Redwood comes Visual Builder Studio. And this is more of a DevOps type of role. But with Visual Builder Studio comes a framework for managing changes so that we're not delivering changes without customers being aware. We're not overriding other people's changes. And so that things are rolled out in a more streamlined way. So change management is important to ensure that as businesses adapt to AI, they can become more aware of changes, that those changes are approved, they're signed off, users have the relevant testing and awareness. So it's literally just a change management end-to-end cycle that we need to be familiar with. So if you haven't worked with change management before, or if you haven't practiced change management, I wouldn't say that you need to learn it, but you need to have some awareness of how it can improve the way that projects work. Now, the other challenge to think about will be ethics and the considerations around ethics. Now, as people are talking about AI, there's lots of ethical discussions that people are having. And one of those discussions is around autonomy, or how AI will affect our lives and our jobs as a whole. So Oracle consultants may need to address ethical dilemmas. So what we have to be careful of is that bias that we may have towards AI and the AI models. So some consultants may be for AI and some may be against. And when we're speaking to customers, we just have to look at things from a very logical or very pragmatic approach and just focus on advising them on how AI can, benefit them without it feeling like it's some sort of debate. So it's really about just looking at the features that Oracle provides and seeing whether those features can benefit the client. The other challenge is to do with the evolution of our jobs as consultants. So certain traditional tasks may diminish with AI, and those tasks could be around implementations. So what I'm talking about here would be implementing a project. Now, years ago, whenever we did an implementation, it would be done very strategically, but we didn't have all the tools that we needed to, help drive that implementation and make it more seamless. Now, since Oracle Cloud came along, we now have the implementation projects, we have functional setup manager, and these provide a step-by-step sequence of the tasks that are needed in order to implement Oracle for different applications. So what I can see happening in the future, and this is just my own personal view, is how that implementation project could become more autonomous, and those sequence of steps could become more automated. So all the client has to do is provide maybe enterprise structure related data, and then we can just feed that into the implementation project, and then all of the implementation tasks are updated with the relevant information, and then all we have to do is just go in and do some checks. So we can see that there is the scope for that to happen, as long as the technology is there. It's not a difficult change. So obviously that will take away quite a key aspect of the role. However, if we adapt and if we find other opportunities, like I've discussed earlier, then that should relieve that challenge. Okay, so that brings me to the end of this discussion, and I've spoken about lots of different aspects of AI and how it is impacting Oracle, and more importantly, how it's impacting the role of an Oracle consultant. So we can see that it's definitely transforming the landscape for us as consultants, but it's not a threat. And I think that's ultimately the point that I'd like to make. It's not a threat, it's more of an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to innovate and also to lead as well, to lead with data as long as we have a good understanding of it. So I think it's important to embrace AI tools. It's important to upskill in the areas that I spoke about so that we can stay ahead. We need to stay ahead of industry trends and just help other consultants to thrive in this new era of AI. So thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If you enjoyed this discussion, then don't forget to subscribe and also leave a comment. And also share the post with anyone in your network who may be interested in AI and Oracle. And also let me know how you think AI will change the role of an Oracle consultant. So please leave your thoughts in the comments or connect on the community post. And until next time, stay curious and keep learning.